You're watching the East by SouthEast Spoken Word Showcase. I'm Selah V, and I'm here with Kaye Abikhaled. How are you?
Just fine. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So, what has happened since last year to this point? Any new events, poetry?
Well, this year I am chair of the annual awards for the Austin Poetry Society.
Oh, awesome.
I'm excited. On May 21st, we have the ceremony, and we are going to announce a lot of winners, and there's money in it too.
Wow.
And it's always the grand finale of the Austin Poetry Society.
How did you get involved with that?
With the Poetry Society? Actually, it was at about the second Austin International Poetry Fest, and Tom, the world poet, invited me to attend, and I was afraid to come in. So while the door opened, he threw a newspaper that had the information on it through the door at my feet, and I came.
I love Tom. I was just explaining in the show that Tom is everywhere, always, anytime. It's like
Absolutely.
If I say a keyword, he'll just pop up right now.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to do that. He's probably busy. So
He's a great supporter of poetry.
Very much
at large.
so.
He travels far and wide. He's from Australia. He travels to England. He was just at La Misa and helped the poetry festival there. He's a wonderful supporter of poetry.
And human rights.
Human rights, yes.
What did you bring with you today?
I brought 6 poems with me today to read. I hope you enjoy them.
I'm sure I will. What book are you reading out of one of your books?
I am reading from unpublished poetry, and I have one published poem that I'm reading from today.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing your work. Austin, Texas. Kaye Abikhaled.
Piper's tunes. I listen to the piper's tunes of human lives, whole notes, half notes, whispered quarter notes, scarcely perceived eighth notes of life's clamors, in the undercurrent of earth's spinning, vibration of restless flow and flux, the true passion in the undergrowth of human blood. I hear emotions circling and spinning, ringing and whistling, stopping short and taking up the beat, crossing over and befriending other tunes, symphonies of voices vibrating, rising to crescendo, lifting a stupendous noise into the atmosphere, vanishing as a howl in black holes. Berlin, 1929. The evenings when Senta Berger performed on stage, Berlin was at her feet. Dimly lit, a void loomed over the vast space for what seemed like minutes. She walked on like a cat, stood at center, motionless in a singular circle of light, the power of her presence sublime. In measured stance, she approached footlights, casting enormous eyes like a trawler's net over an audience breathless at the edge of their seats. She held them spellbound, this tiny person, floating in midair, voice rising in perfect addiction to the very last row without use of microphones. Hundreds drank her words, mesmerized. Applause and foot stomping continued long after the play had ended. On stage, the great Senta Berger ruled Berlin. Off stage, her humility rendered her nearly invisible, which aided her disappearance a few years later when the Führer took over the Reich. But in the hearts of many Berliners, Senta Berger never left. Football at the University of Texas. This is a poem after James Dickey. Come early, stay late, make noise, be great. Dressed in team colors, snaking bumper to bumper, trunk to hood parking, tailgate parties, feasting, pilgrims flock to the stadium. Excitement grows. Sun casts afternoon shadows on visors and longhorn caps. Burnt orange, white, orange and black, and the gold of band instruments, hook 'em horns. Team smartly jogs to the grassy field. Voices rise to roar, cheering, ready for action. Bevo on the green rug. Cannon's boom echoes, 85,000 on their feet. Oval leather hangs in air, gladiator caught, sprinting in zigzags down to the 40, buried under the opposing team. Yards are fought for, inches defended. Closer to goal, pom-poms are shaking, fans are shrieking, shouting advice in language foul and nice. Goal line crossed, crowds in a frenzy, kicker team marches and orange foot arches for the additional point. Cannon explodes, Bevo lows. Sun is dim, art is thin, air is thin, heavy with dust and din. Moon on the horizon. Bats crossing beams of stadium lights. Voices grown hoarse, noises are coarse, colors blur, eardrums whir, hook 'em horns. If I were to give my soul to you, present it humbly, sans conditions, and tuned my heart to beat as yours. And if I were to lay my life in unreserved commitment into your hands, to mold at will and cease to live my own, if nothing mattered except your day, would you then thank and bring the same to me? Or would you wane and turn and cast my gift into the thorny hedge along the path of time? Senior volunteers. We push our buttons for your delight, early morn to late at night, until we feel like falling down, and still we slave like gluttons. It's our high. We smile with pleasure, try not to feel exhaustion's measure. We are your senior energizers, your free par, eager to give you all our credit so you can claim achievements your own. We are your senior volunteers, unsung geezers who prop up your star. Take on any task, free of charge. Just ask. Wing walking. Nothing to it, said the voice on the phone. Tied down, it's perfectly safe. Okay, I said, I'll come. The plane was short, stubby, and sturdy. The engine coughed and puffed. The pilot revved indiscriminate. The plane took on a life of its own, began to vibrate, huff, and drone. He loosed the brake, and the biplane bowed, picked up speed, danced on its toes. We lifted, circled wide and low, dipping wings that said hello. We hummed to altitude, flowing in rows. The world was in beauty down below. But then the pilot pushed the stick and like a fiend hurtling into dive, aimed for the field, which grew quick. We're done for, saw my life askew. But the madman changed direction, the plane trembling lifted in convection to a giant loop and weightlessness, until the engine began to shiver, catch its breath, pointed like a needle, reverse again, and back down we came in roar of abandon, closing the loop over the field in tandem, pulling up, leveling out, circling tight and coming back low, just right, turning spirals, 1, 2, 3, 4, disappearing into the river's sloped gore, coming around once more, upside down. I saw people's spellbound faces frown and mutely cursed the pilot for his paces, who lifted, turned upright in sequenced phases, circled slow, grand standing, and set her down in a graceful landing. Wasn't bad, was it? We had great cheer. All I wanted was a double shot of gin and never see his face again. Thank you.